What's happening, guys? Cap over here, and welcome to our week 2 battle in the NPCC. And thank you so much for joining us today. As today we're taking on the Minnesota Wild Charge, coached by Sharpdress Gaming. So if you want to check out his side of the battle and his perspective, be sure to look in the description down below. Click on the link, subscribe to his channel, and give that like button a thumbs up. He does a lot of VGC, a lot of league battles, and he occasionally does some Wi-Fi battles. I think I've seen some. So be sure to check him out. He's a really awesome guy. He's a really awesome guy. And this is a big battle too, because this is a in-conference battle. So we can potentially move up one ahead of the pack, which is really great, or one ahead of Sharpdress Gaming, which is something that I would really like, because we could potentially move into playoffs, and that would be awesome. That would be really awesome. I'd really be hyped for that. But yeah, so he has a really cool team. So he has a sand team, which is interesting because I do have a sort of water. I've got two types of weather on my team. It's weird. He has Drill, Tyrantar, Como, Stoutland, Volcarona, Primanera, Executree, Trevenant, Skunk Tank, Giraffic, and Braviary. Excuse my pause there for a bit because I was looking at the team that he has right now, and he did his updates, so I had to think about it. For a bit. So his 3 Zmons are Excadrill, Como, and Primanera. So a lot of big threats over there, especially Excadrill. Excadrill is something that I was really scared of, and this is something that could totally sweep my team. I didn't really have a good answer for it, because depending on what sort of extra he brings, I have to sack up certain stuff, and I have to bring in certain things. If he brings in Mold Breaker, Rotom is no longer really that good against it. If he brings in Sand Rush, Alolan Ninetales doesn't do well against it, so it's a lot of, give and takes, wax on, wax off. So the team I'm bringing in today is Garchomp, who is just Swords Dance, pretty much like from last week with the Yache Berry. I'm bringing a Scarf Ninetales because I'm not getting any of those speed ties going on. My team is a bit faster than his team, so I was looking at the speed tier and I was like, oh hey, my team has a pretty good advantage of that. So I kept that in mind when I was building this team. He has I have the Rotom. I have it. I have Rotom with just Will-O-Wisp, Volt Switch, Overheat, and Pain Split, just because I wanted to, potentially force some switches. I've got Metagross with the Assault Vest, standard, 4 moves. Ludicolo, who is my defensive mon today, just to take on Excadrill, because Excadrill just poops on my team. It just enjoys it so much. And depending if Excadrill has X Scissors, this was something I was really scouting out for. I was like, alright, if he has X Scissors, then GG, it's a roll, because after Earthquake, X Scissors has a chance to KO. So I'm like, alright, let's take those chances. I'm willing to take those chances. And it depends if he has a Life Orb too, so that was a lot of things to factor. So I was like, if the roll isn't in my favor, or if Fates says Ludicolo is going down, then Ludicolo is going down. So that was something I was really afraid of. Then we've got Snorlax over here, who is the beast of the Mons with the Salt Vest. He's got the poofy jacket, He's already poofy. We brought in a poofy vest, and he's looking pretty. He's gonna be wondering. He's gonna be like, yo man, does this jacket make me look bad? I'm like, no, it doesn't. And to be honest, it doesn't. It really doesn't. This guy's role over here is to take on Executree, Volcarona, and potentially force some switch outs with those mons and get some big damage of, like, if it's Trevenant, I can go for Ice Punch. If it's Excadrill, I can go for Earthquake. If it's Braviary or Volcarona, I can go for the Rock Slide and really build some momentum. So that was sort of my game plan going into this battle. I really had to bring him, I had to really force the game on him in order for me to have a good, successful battle. And we'll sort of just jump into this. So this is not bad. 4 minutes into the video, and we can sort of hop into it. Sort of gave my thought process, and yeah, doing pretty well, Cap. Doing pretty well. And before we do get into this battle, check out this shenanigans over here. So we got Cap over here with the nice cap. He's got the cap hat over there too. Oh man, this is gonna be a lit battle. This is not every day you see 2 caps on one screen. 2 caps on one screen. What am I talking about? Double caps. So yeah, I'm just wishing him, I'm leading off with Garchomp because I figured, Garchomp is a good lead, forces some stuff. He's got a really cool costume, so I think round 1 goes to him. Way to go, man. He dressed much better than me. I like that skull shirt. I like it a lot. So he's got his Xurkitree over here. I've got Garchomp. I'm not losing my Yache Berry, and this I got things for this, so there's no point of wasting my berry right away, and maybe I can sort of, you know, put that rest or that thought at ease when I switch out, knowing that, you know, he has hidden power. So Hot and Fluffy just eats that up. Like, that is thick fat assault vest. Snorlax right over there. So I make a prediction over here. I figured, you know what, he's not staying in. I could potentially do a lot of damage. I'm going for the Ice Punch, and what do you know? Look at this damage over here. That is some big damage. That's a big hit right there for Snorlax. So I'm like, alright, let's just switch out and see what happens next. I can just go right into Apple because it's the middle ground play. It honestly is. As he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, I'm like, oh man, optimal position right over here. And he doesn't switch out. I was predicting him to switch out. So that was a bit of a situation over there as he reveals the Figure Berry over here, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. This is totally not good. So I'm forced to go into my Lacapitina over here. And I'm like, you know what, he probably is just going to go for like a Will-O-Wisp or something like that. I don't want any of my mons to get burnt or anything like that. Plus, Will-O-Wisp is pretty, you know, it doesn't really do a lot over here. So at this point I'm like, alright, cool. I can just go for a Blizzard or Moonblast. I decide to go for a Moonblast over here just because, you know, if he sends out Tyranitar, I figured he would send out Tyranitar over here just because it seemed like a good switch in. So I make a prediction. I'm like, alright, let's go for Moonblast. And this is weird. Trevenant gets its Harvest in the Hail. I'm like, how does that work out? If Sun makes it automatic and Hail should make it like, you know, it's impossible to get a Figure Berry because, you know, it's snow. It makes sense. But he goes into Volcarona over here. Volcarona takes absolutely nothing, but it does take some hail damage, but it's negated by the Leech Seed. And I'm like, oh, alright, that's a bit unfortunate. Pretty much I did nothing, and, you know, life is looking pretty unfair. So I just go into my heart check over here. Volcarona meet Snorlax with a poofy vest. You can't burn it off. Oh man, Snorlax is looking pretty fine with that poofy vest. So Hot and Fluffy is just staring at this thing, making it like it's sizing it up pretty much sizing it up. Volcarona looks about the same size, so I'm just clicking Rock Slide. If he goes for an attack, no problem. I eat it right up. Look at this, look at this. Delicious. That does a lot of damage considering that's thick fat assault vest, but I missed the Rock Slide and I'm like, oh, I could have gotten rid of this Volcarona, which would have been awesome. Sort of sucks, it happens. Bit sucky, but it is what it is. Rock Slide has a chance to miss. And I do make a prediction over here. I'm just like, alright, he might switch out into something, so I go for Earthquake. No way is he gonna, after I revealed Rock Slide, no way is he gonna stay in because Volcarona will just drop to the thought of rocks. So I'm like, alright, let's make a prediction, Earthquake. And he brings out Trevenant, so I can just bring out Apple once more. And he goes for the Leech Seed. So at this point I'm like, alright, he's gotta switch out. He's gotta switch out or do something. I think he's gonna go into X-Drill or he's gonna go into Tyranitar or something like that. And I can potentially build up some momentum or do something like that, which would be awesome. But he decides to stay in and I'm like, what? Why? So I'm really like I'm playing this Trevenant bad. Making over predictions, and Trevenant is doing some nice damage to my team right now, so I'm like, okay, this is bad, this is not good. So at this point I'm like, alright, he knows I'm not a choice in any way, so I go for the Volt Switch, predicting him to switch out, but that doesn't happen, and I'm like, oh man, really? So I go into my Capitina. I'm like, alright, I'm going for Blizzard next turn. Let's try to get rid of this thing. It's it's been here for too long and it's been threatening me way too much. So he does get me burnt, which is a bit unfortunate, a bit sucky because, you know, that's going to be residual damage. That's damage I do not appreciate. And now Trevenant is in range for Blizzard. Well, I don't think it was going to be taking it anytime soon. Thankfully, I did not bring it to its Figgy Berry range, which is fantastic. So I'm just clicking Blizzard. No point of over predicting. I'm getting rid of this guy over here, and oh, that's some clean damage right over there. I do like it. I like it a lot. Now, at this point, I'm like, all right, I'm probably gonna have to switch out because it's something. And he reveals Sam, so I'm like, all right, that's cool. I can just fire off another Blizzard because it's a guaranteed hit, guaranteed KO. I don't know what sort of investments he was. If he had some investments, then it might have been a roll, but for me, I was just like, you know what, let's get rid of Braviary. Braviary is one of the biggest threats that he could bring against my team, so that worked out. So we're up 2 Pokemon, and I'm like, this feels good, this feels really good. And Volcarona is back, so I can just bring out Snorlax and really apply some pressure, you know, make it feel good. That's pretty much what I'm thinking about. As he makes an aggressive double over here, really good play as he brings out his Tyranitar, and I'm like, oh dang. Tyranitar is on the field, I hit the field, I don't have a lot of things that can take this hit. So I'm like, alright, I just gotta bring out Garchomp here because this thing is bad news bears. It is a frightening mon, it is something that I do not want to deal with, and in my prep I was thinking about, you know what, he might have Ice Beam, he probably has Ice Beam because that makes sense. I've seen Tyranitars have it, so I'm like, alright, setting up Swords Dance. This reveals that he most likely has an Ice attack, and I'm like, oh dang. And he reveals Ice Punch, which is something I did not expect. I was expecting Ice Beam, like 100% Ice Beam, so that does a lot of damage. I don't get frozen, which is great because I don't want to get frozen. And now I get a free KO over here. Depending on what he goes into, Earthquake just simply wipes out the mon from the opposite end. So he ends up sacking up his Tyranitar, and I'm like, alright, that's great, that's fantastic. However, I do not know what his Excadrill is, just because he hasn't revealed it. So he brings out Livewire over here, and this is where I sort of make a misplay. I know he's going for Hidden Power Ice. I was predicting him to predict me to predict him to go for something, so I just sag off Garchomp over here, there was no point of me doing that. He does get the boost, so I'm in a bit of a pickle over here because it's bad right now. It's real bad. It's real bad. So I just got to go for a Earthquake over here. I do have the Metagross with Assault Vest that can take Executree, so that's my play right now. And there was no way I was going to make this prediction. Executree was just too scary, and I just ended up going for Earthquake. Maybe he could have gone into Drill, but that does some clean damage. That's some nice damage. And he reveals another berry over here. Eating those berries, his team is hungry today. You gotta feed your team, man. You gotta feed your team. Eating all those berries on the field, it's just, you know, you can get some cramps from that. So I'm just gonna go for the Rock Slide. Thankfully, I don't miss. And we take out Mothra over here, Volcarona, but Snorlax isn't looking too hot. That Bug Buzz did a lot of damage, and he has to send out Undercover his, what's his face? This thing. So I make a switch over here. I'm like, alright, I might need Hot and Fluffy later on in the road, so I'm just gonna go into Mirror Beat because that is my best play to do. And because I ran this calculation, I ran this scenario. If he goes for Earthquake or Iron Head, he does a certain amount of damage, and this puts me in range where I could potentially live a X-Scissors. It's a roll, and I know it's a roll because I've done this calculation a couple times. So I'm like, alright, I'm at 114. I think the roll is like 50 to 71%. I think it does. So I'm like, alright, let's do it. And he does get the roll. He only needed like a middle roll for him, so nothing wrong with that. At this point, I realize, oh snap, this drill could potentially sweep me because it's it's faster than a lot of things on my team, and I don't have enough speed, which is odd because I figured, you know what, in this game I have the speed factor. But my only play at this point was I have to sag off a couple mons to bring Excadrill in range for Alolan Ninetales to come in, click Blizzard, and potentially bring this drill in range where it could take well, we'll bring it, or so it didn't take a Blizzard. The Blizzard was a roll, but Life Orb guaranteed the KO, so it was sort of like, you know what, I'm gonna have to sag off a couple things. So this means that, you know, if I get a good roll, or I'm pretty sure I even with a low roll, I still took it down. So at this point, I'm like, alright, I gotta see how much damage Blizzard does. If he switches out into Executree, there's no point of that. I think it's a 2-hit KO. Pretty sure it's a 2-hit KO. So this is my only play. This is his only play. And I'm just going for Blizzard because, like I said, my only play, missed out on the KO, but thankfully Iron Head, or not Iron Head, Life Orb will take it down. He gets a crit on that too. Alone Ninetales not receiving any love at this point. So he does go down, thankfully, to his Life Orb, and I'm like, whew, avoid that sweep over there, that little blunder of a play. So thankfully I can just bring out into X gonna give it to Exercitry over here. And now I can just click Earthquake. I know I'm gonna live this Thunderbolt for sure, guaranteed. And look how wonderfully I eat this Thunderbolt. It's just stupendous, fantastic. So I can go for Earthquake. Now it was a pretty much guaranteed KO depending on his investments and whatnot. But thankfully we do get the KO and we walk away with a 1-0 victory over Sharpdress Gaming, which is really close. It was a really close battle, so be sure to check out his side of the battle. He's gonna have some really great, a great perspective into it. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. We're 2-0 in the NPCC, and we're on top of the division. So that's pretty awesome because, like I said before, everyone lost their opening debut games except for myself in our different division. Confident division. What am I saying? In our division. So everyone is 0-1 and we're 2-0. So right now, for sure, we're up a couple games and we have a good firm and a good grasp on first place. So that's awesome. I'm happy about that. So be sure to smash that like button if you haven't already supported your local Toronto SwaBlu Jays. I'm sorry. I know someone out there is cringing at local Toronto Star SwaBlues. What's going on here? If you're not supporting your SwaBlu Jays, be sure to support them. Click on that subscribe button, click on that thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. As I'm gonna get going, so have yourselves a good day, a good evening, and a good morning. Peace.